Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And we're going to be doing this with my I am deck, which is just full of positive affirmations. Every single card in this deck has just something good that we can say about us, some positive traits that we can affirm. And as we affirm these things, we are building into our own lives. We are changing up our own mental pathways. We are deciding to be new ways, to think new things, and to just behave in differently. As we behave differently, we get different results. And if we look at our lives right now, the fact is that our lives are the product of the decisions that we've made, of the thoughts that we've had, of all the things that we've thought about ourselves, about the people around us, about life in general. And so, as we think better thoughts about ourselves, we are setting ourselves up for even greater success. So, I'm excited to have you guys here. Good morning. Good morning. It is good to come together with you today. I see I have quite a crowd today, so it's wonderful to see you guys. Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Sylvia. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Lauren and Teresa. It is wonderful to see you guys here today. So yeah, let's have some fun, and yeah, let's just say some good stuff about us as we do this. Good morning, Eric. Good to see you here today as well. Yeah, it's just fantastic that you guys have joined in, have joined me. So yeah, we're gonna do the same thing today that we do every day. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to affirm together that we are that affirmation. As we do this, we are, like I said, completely changing our neural pathways, and we are ultimately building into our lives. We are setting ourselves up for a very positive future. So let's have some fun today by pulling a card and saying that today I am extraordinary. I am extraordinary. I transcend expectations and live authentically. So I am extraordinary. I transcend expectations and live authentically. Are you extraordinary? You are extraordinary. You transcend expectations and live authentically. I'm going to write that down in the comments. Amanda has beat me as always. I transcend expectations and live authentically. The reason we write these things in the comments is because it requires an additional level of faith to write this stuff down. And I find that when I write down these things, that they become more real in my world. The fact is that things like vision boards are very powerful. Things like journaling are very powerful. I know you've seen this pic live, Amanda. I thought of you when I created this card. I thought of that incredible picture of you, and it was a picture of you and Chris actually at the Aurora Borealis. And yeah, as I was thinking about what is extraordinary, that was something that was very much in my mind. So yeah, you were, and your experience was one of my inspirations as I created this card. We do transcend expectations, and we do live authentically. But what does it mean to be extraordinary? I believe that the meaning of the word is locked right up there in the word. It's visible for us to see. It's plain. To be extraordinary is to be extraordinary. Extraordinary means out of the ordinary. It means to just to be outside of what everybody else does, how everybody else thinks. When if we think the way that everybody else does, if we do the same thing that everybody else does, we are going to get the same results as everybody else does. And so it's so important for us to be extraordinary, to live an extraordinary life, to be outside of that ordinary, to transcend those expectations. Good morning, Shauna. You are extraordinary today. But it is important for us to be to really embody that outside of the ordinary experience, because as we do that, we are going to get different results. The fact is that society at large functions and works a certain way. And when we choose to make a different, a different choice, when we choose to live authentically, when we choose to be ourselves as opposed to being what everybody around us expects us to be, when we choose to lean into our gifts, when we choose to take the risks that are necessary to live a full and authentic life, we will necessarily transcend those boundaries. We will necessarily, just as a matter of course, we will transcend that stuff. We will become larger than it. I am very blessed to be surrounded by people who are larger than life, who live bigger, and to the best of my ability, I desire to be one of those as well. I feel like this life is that I get one of these, and that it is worth living as big as possible. If there are people in this world who live so large that they change history, why can't I be one of them? Why can't you be one of them? We have the ability to transcend expectations and to live authentic to ourselves. And ourselves, who are we? We are unique people. We are a peculiar people because we are unique. We are each and every one of us has gifts and talents and abilities that have been bestowed upon nobody else. Each and every one of us is this unique point in time, this unique point in history. Each and every one of us has a set of skills and a set of dreams that nobody else has ever had. And so because of that, when we choose to live in the fullness of our understanding of who we are, we become extraordinary. We transcend those expectations. We become celebrated by the people around us because of our willingness to accept the risks inherent in living authentically. And indeed, it is a risk. But when I look at the folks who are most celebrated in life, when I look at when I consider the people who are just living in accordance with the biggest version of who they are, I recognize that it took significant risk for them to get there. There's a saying that success is invisible until it's inevitable, which is to say that all of the work that we do on ourselves, all of the risks that we take that really don't go anywhere, all of the ways in which we choose to live authentically that for so long don't actually seem to provide us with any benefit, all of a sudden come together in such a beautiful way that we want that everybody else just thinks, oh, well, that was just inevitable. It must have happened that way. And the reality is that we work at this every day, that we transcend expectations every day, that we live authentically every day. It's just that nobody pays attention to us until they do, until we are so different that it is impossible not to pay attention to us. And so let's live extraordinarily. Let's be extraordinary. Let's transcend expectations. Let's live authentically. Let's be ourselves in the fullness of our experience, because what else is life about except expressing the fullness of who we are? It is so easy. It is so easy for the worries and cares in life to stop us, to make us say, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't live authentically because I got bills to pay. I can't live authentically because I got responsibilities. And yet we can. We can have this and that. But it is so easy to, and so many people do it, give up on their dreams because the worries and cares of life get in the way. And yet those worries and cares in life that we all have, that everybody that I've ever met, including the most successful and high-performing people that I've ever come into contact with, all have those same worries and cares. The difference is that extraordinary people act in spite of them. We transcend expectations. Society expects us to live a certain way. It expects us to make certain choices. It expects us to behave as if that there are specific limitations in our lives. It tries to convince us of this. And when we refuse to believe in those limitations, when we say, okay, Yeah, of course I have responsibilities. I'm a grown up. Of course there are limitations in my life, but that doesn't mean that I should live any less authentically. And as we leap out into the void, as we leap, the net appears. We make the jump. We say, even though there are limitations in my life, even though I have responsibilities to myself and to the people around me and to society at large, I still am going to live in the fullness of my experience. At that point, life itself provides a net for us. At that point, circumstances themselves work together for our ultimate good. And so we are extraordinary. We transcend expectations. We live authentically. I found that when I stopped just being the person that everybody around me expected me to be, and I started to just be my own person, one of the first things that happened was that all of the people who didn't really like me for who I was fell away. That was the first thing that happened. All the folks who liked me for who I was pretending to be, well, they just exited stage left in my life. And honestly, that was a good thing. That was a good thing for me, because those people deserve to be with people who they love for who they are, and I deserve to be with people who love me for who I am. And when I started to live a more extraordinary life, when I decided to make different choices, different decisions, when that happened, a whole new group of people surrounded me. A whole new group of people found me, or perhaps I found them. But the fact is that when I started to live an extraordinary life, that other people who were living an extraordinary life gravitated toward me because they recognized the path that I'm on. The other people who are also transcending expectations, who are also living differently, who are also committed to being their authentic self, who are also committed to expressing their gifts most fully in this world while we are alive in this now moment, those people all of a sudden paid attention to me because I was doing the same thing. When we live authentically, when we choose to be ourselves, when we choose to let our crazy hang out and say, hey, this is what my crazy looks like, and I love this. And as long as my crazy isn't hurting you, and as long as my crazy isn't hurting me, then then I expect that I will be loved and accepted for who I am. The people who do accept that and do love me for who I am, those people stick around. Those people intentionally maintain a relationship. And the people who just say, well, you're nuts for not doing the thing that everybody else does, well, those people fell right out of my world. And boy, am I happy they did. And I wish them the best at wherever they go. But they're not for me, and I'm not for them. And if one day they decide that they also want to transcend expectations and they also want to live in accordance with their authentic self, that they also want to express their gifts, that they also want to give up the excuses that society gives us and say that we can't, when they're ready to do that, then I guarantee they're going to come right back into my world. I am extraordinary. You are extraordinary. You are an extraordinary person. You transcend expectations. You live authentically. I know that you do because I do, and because water seeks its own level. My mom always used to say that. She said, water seeks its own level. If you want to know who you are, look at who hangs around you. Look at who you hang around with. These people are a mirror of us. So let's transcend expectations today. Let's live authentically today. Let us intentionally seek out authenticity. Let us be outside of the ordinary. As we do that, we encourage other people to do it as well. It only takes a few people living in accordance with their true selves in order to completely change the world that we live in. When I look at social movements, when I look at political movements, they always start with a small number of people who believe that change is not just necessary, but that it's inevitable. We must believe in the inevitability of our ultimate, of our ultimate authenticity. We must believe in the inevitability of the change that we seek to manifest in this world. And as we believe in that, we will be empowered and encouraged to transcend the expectations that are set on us, expectations that were given to us at the moment that we were born, identities that were given to us the moment that we were born. We were born into a country. We were born into a religion. We were born into a set of beliefs. And many people have never reconsidered. Being extraordinary means transcending the ordinary, and that involves responsibility. That involves the responsibility of knowing what is important to us, what we value. We transcend expectations, we live authentically, and we get to enjoy the fruit of that. The fruit of transcending expectations and living authentically is having a fulfilled life. And that fulfilled life is very attractive to the people who are currently locked in limiting belief systems, locked in the belief systems that say, well, I can't because I have to do this. I can't live authentically because I have to maintain a certain level of sameness with the people around me. We are extraordinary people. So let us go out into this world and be extraordinary. Just as a tiny amount of yeast raises a large amount of dough, so too do a very small amount of people, a very small number of people, have the ability to completely and totally change the world. And if this world is a way that you don't prefer it to be, then believe me when I tell you that you are empowered to change it. You are empowered to completely remake it in your own image. And when two or more people gather together to remake the world in their own image, it happens. So let us transcend expectations and let us live authentically today. You guys have been really like up in the comments today. Let's see what y'all have to say. Let's see. Yeah, so I think I had to mention to you, Amanda. Thank you so much, Eric. I feel like I am on fire today. I love doing this, in case you can't tell. Let's see. Yeah, so Amanda says that she loves the pic. She's seen it live. I love the picture of you, Amanda, looking at the aurora borealis. And I feel like the aurora borealis was a very apt visual metaphor for this. How often do we look up at the sky and not think anything of it? And yet we are staring at the cosmos. We are staring at something that is so large as to be almost inconceivable to us. Something that is so big that we can only express how large it is using numbers that pretty much most people will never even be able to comprehend the size of. Something that we will never be able to go visit because we don't have enough life to get there. And yet we can just look at it. And yet how we expect it to be, we just expect the sun to come up every morning. We expect the moon to come out. We expect the stars to show up unless there are clouds. And yet going and looking at something like the aurora borealis, it just takes that sky that we look at every day that we don't think much of, even though it's incredible, and it just sets it on fire. It just lights it up with rainbows of color. Let's see here. Amanda also says, I was not living authentically at the beginning of last year. It was such a heavy burden. I'm so thankful I found my authentic self again and can live in my truth. It is a burden. It is a burden that we place on ourselves as adults. When we're kids, we can be anything. We can do anything. Nobody tells a child that they can't. Children can say that they're going to be anything when they grow up, and adults will just believe them because children are entirely, the possibility lives entirely in the heart of a child, and children don't foresee any limitations. But there comes this point when we start to believe in limitation. We start to believe that we can't be whatever we want to be when we grow up. And why is that? What changes? I believe that the responsibilities of life come upon us, and they come upon us at a time when we are not yet fully equipped mentally to handle them. And so we're like, okay, well, we have a problem, so let's deal with the problem. And then, well, the hits start coming, and they don't stop coming in life. We are constantly beset by something that is not the way that we prefer it to be. And it is very easy to get into a mental idea, a mental state that because my life has nothing but problems that require solutions in it, that because as an adult I am responsible, which again is the meaning of the word is in the word responsible, response able to respond. Because I am able to respond to these external stimuli in life, that the things that are most important to me need to take a back seat. And yet we see time and time again that we always accomplish the things that are truly important to us. And also that there are plenty of people in this world who have the same 24 hours in a day that we have, and yet are executing at a higher level. And so what is it that makes them different? And I believe that it is nothing more than the belief that they can do more, and the focus, the mental fortitude and focus to say, okay, even though stuff is going on in my world, even though I got problems, I'm still dedicated toward making my dreams a reality. Tony says, I was born to be me, and that is what I live and love to be. And there is only one of you, Tony. There is only one, and it's you. And because there's only one of you, the dreams that you have in your heart and the goals that you have on your mind, those things can only be achieved by you. And so that alone ought to be enough reason for all of us to actually do that stuff. And that's probably a good thing. It probably is, Tony. The dreams that are in my heart, the things that are in my mind, I don't think the world is ready for two of me. Yeah. Oh, the first time you've ever heard water seeks its own level, huh? Yeah, Amanda, my mom said that all the time. Water seeks its own level. That means that the people that we hang out with are a mirror image of us. They show us who we are. There's a little thought experiment that I actually did. So for a very long time, I didn't have I didn't use Facebook at all on my mobile device. I had completely uninstalled it. And actually, I did a 1 year social media fast. I didn't touch social media for a year. It was a very strange year to feel so disconnected, but I did. And I intentionally sought out real life connections. And boy, did that not work out for me. But you know what? For a full year, I wasn't on social media. And when I got back to social media, when I jumped back into it, Facebook didn't know enough about me to serve me an ad. So my social media account had 0 ads in it for like about 3 or 4 weeks, while Facebook figured out who I was again and started to serve me ads. And when that happened, I paid attention to every single one of those, because I said to myself, there is this multi-billion-dollar company that is created this algorithm specifically designed to learn about me and sell me stuff. I should pay attention to the things that they think I think are important. And as I was doing that, as I was very intentionally studying the advertisements that Facebook was serving me over the course of a couple of months, I learned a ton about myself. Because the things that somebody sees fit to actually, pay money for me to look at, those things were a really valuable tool for introspection, and I used them as such. Nowadays, I'm so grateful because about the only time I get on Facebook is to check on the wake up call. Also, the fact is that I still see ads and whatnot on Facebook as I'm checking on the broadcasts that I do. And it's just so very interesting to take a look and see, who does Facebook think I am? Amanda says, it would have been easy to fall back into old patterns the end of last year, but I transcended my own expectations and lived authentically through it. You fucking rock. You do fucking rock. You do fucking rock, Amanda. And believe that you do, because you can do hard things. I know, because I watch you do hard things. And all of us here on this broadcast can do hard things. We can all transcend expectations, and we can all live authentically, and we all do. Hey, how's it going there, Amy Jo? It's good to see you here on the broadcast. And you don't stop rocking either, Eric. But I'm going to stop rocking for now, at least on the internet, because I've been here for about 30 minutes. I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for as always, attending the wake-up call, for sharing the wake-up call, and for expanding this message, and for telling your friends about it. I received a beautiful, Marco Polo from a friend who basically said that she listens to the wake-up call, and that she listens to it in the presence of her supervisors and her coworkers, and that people actually like. I think that's so cool. She's like, yeah, people are listening to what you have to say. People who don't know who you are listening to what you have to say. And I think that that is such a cool thing. And I'm grateful that anybody feels like my message is worthy of being syndicated, I guess, or of being expanded to their friend group. So thank you guys so much for that. I will return tomorrow with another call, or with another card at 9 a.m. We're going to go over yet another empowering thing to say about ourselves. Until then, I just want to remind you that I love you, that I care about you, that I believe that you are an extraordinary person, that I believe that you have the ability to transcend expectations no matter what's going on in your life, that you still have the ability to look at life different, to think about life differently, and that I believe that the people around me are all uncommonly authentic. And I know that you are, because I watch your lives, and I watch the decisions that you make. And I'm always paying attention to these things, just as I'm sure many people are paying attention to me. So I am extraordinary today. You are extraordinary. We are extraordinary people. Let's go transcend expectations and live authentically and change the world. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, I love you, I care about you, and aloha from paradise.